If you are over 70 and still driving, 2026 may change the rules faster than you expect. New state laws can quietly turn one missed test, one renewal delay, or one traffic stop into thousands of dollars in penalties or even license suspension. What follows could directly affect your independence, finances, and daily freedom behind the wheel. Number 1. Vision and functional screening requirements. For drivers aged 70 and older, vision and functional screening requirements are becoming stricter across many states as 2026 approaches. These rules focus on visual acuity, peripheral vision, and contrast sensitivity, all strongly linked by traffic safety research to higher crash risk when they decline. Motor vehicle agencies now require these tests at nearly every license renewal, rather than only after accidents or complaints. If a driver fails to meet minimum standards, the license may be placed on temporary hold until corrective steps are taken, which can include new prescriptions, medical clearance, or retesting appointments that delay legal driving privileges. Beyond eyesight alone, several states are introducing functional screening tools that measure reaction speed, divided attention, and basic cognitive processing used during real driving situations. These assessments are brief and non-invasive, yet they play a decisive role in renewal outcomes. Transportation studies show that slower reaction times and reduced visual processing speed significantly increase crash risk at intersections, during left turns, and while merging. When screening results fall outside accepted ranges, drivers may be required to complete additional evaluations or behind-the-wheel testing before full driving privileges are restored. From a practical standpoint, these changes mean older drivers must prepare earlier and more carefully than before. Scheduling routine eye exams, updating prescriptions promptly, and addressing treatable conditions like cataracts or glaucoma can directly influence renewal success. Drivers should also expect less flexibility from DMV systems, which now automatically flag missed screenings or borderline scores. Ignoring renewal notices or assuming eyesight has remained unchanged can quickly lead to fines, reinstatement fees, and extended periods without legal driving access. Number 2. In-person license renewal mandates. Across the United States, drivers aged 70 and older are increasingly required to renew their licenses through in-person DMV visits rather than online or mail options. State transportation agencies cite safety data showing that face-to-face renewals allow officials to verify identity, observe mobility, and confirm visual capability in real time. These mandates often remove remote renewal options entirely once a driver reaches a specific age threshold, even when the individual maintains a clean driving history and long-term compliance with traffic laws nationwide. This policy shift reflects research indicating that subtle physical or cognitive changes may not be detected through paperwork alone. During in-person renewals, staff may observe difficulty standing, delayed responses to instructions, or problems completing basic administrative tasks. While these observations are informal, they can lead to referrals for vision exams, medical reviews, or on-road testing. Transportation safety studies associate early identification of functional decline with reduced crash involvement, especially at intersections, during merging, and in high-traffic environments where quick judgment is required. For older drivers, preparation becomes essential to avoiding fines, delays, and license interruptions. Appointment slots may fill weeks or months in advance, particularly in high-population regions, increasing the chance of unintentional expiration. Required documents, updated eye exam results, and physician statements must be ready to avoid repeat visits and added costs. Failure to comply can result in reinstatement fees, late penalties, and temporary suspension of driving privileges, directly affecting independence, daily routines, medical appointments, and access to essential services. Number 3. More frequent license renewal intervals. Many states are shortening license renewal cycles for drivers aged 70 and older, moving from long renewal periods to 2- or 3-year intervals. Transportation agencies argue that shorter cycles allow earlier detection of declining vision, slower reflexes, or emerging medical conditions that affect driving safety. Research from traffic safety institutes shows that age-related changes can accelerate quickly, making long renewal gaps less effective for monitoring driver readiness on modern, high-speed roadways. With shorter renewal periods, older drivers face more frequent fees, testing requirements, and administrative steps. Each renewal may involve vision screening, paperwork, and in-person visits, increasing the risk of missed deadlines. Even a short delay can trigger late penalties, reinstatement charges, or automatic license suspension. These costs can add up over time, especially for drivers on fixed incomes who previously renewed only once every several years. To manage these changes, drivers must adopt a more proactive renewal routine. Marking renewal dates well in advance, maintaining current medical documentation, and budgeting for repeated fees can prevent unexpected driving interruptions. Ignoring renewal notices or assuming extensions will be granted may result in loss of legal driving status. For many older adults, these shorter cycles represent a significant shift in how long-term driving independence must now be actively maintained. Number 4. Mandatory written and road testing. Several states are expanding mandatory written and road tests for drivers aged 70 and older, even when no accidents or violations exist. These tests are designed to evaluate rule recall, hazard recognition, lane control, and decision-making under pressure. Traffic safety research links missed signs, delayed braking, and improper turns to higher collision rates among older drivers, prompting regulators to rely more heavily on direct performance testing rather than age alone. Written exams often focus on updated traffic laws, complex intersections, and modern roadway features such as roundabouts and adaptive signals. Road tests assess real-world skills, including gap judgment, speed regulation, and multitasking in live traffic. Failing either exam can result in conditional licensing, mandatory retraining, or temporary loss of driving privileges until retesting is completed. Each attempt may involve testing fees, scheduling delays, and transportation challenges. Preparation plays a major role in avoiding penalties. Reviewing current driver manuals, practicing unfamiliar routes, and completing voluntary refresher courses can significantly improve outcomes. Drivers should expect limited retest windows and strict scoring standards. Missing appointments or repeated failures may trigger suspension, higher insurance costs, and additional medical evaluations, creating financial and mobility consequences that extend well beyond the testing day itself. Number 5. Medical evaluation and physician reporting rules. States are increasingly expanding medical evaluation policies for drivers age 70 and older, focusing on conditions that may affect alertness, coordination, and judgment. Under these rules, physicians, family members, or law enforcement officers can submit reports requesting a driver's medical review. These reports do not automatically revoke a license, but they often trigger mandatory evaluations that must be completed within a fixed time frame to avoid suspension. Medical reviews typically assess vision disorders, neurological conditions, cardiovascular stability, and medication side effects. Research shows that untreated sleep disorders, cognitive decline, and certain prescription drugs significantly increase crash risk. When evaluations identify concerns, licensing agencies may impose temporary driving restrictions, require follow-up testing, or limit driving until medical clearance is provided. Failure to submit documentation on time can result in administrative suspension, even if the driver feels fully capable. For older drivers, organization and communication become critical. Keeping updated medical records, understanding medication warnings, and discussing driving fitness openly with healthcare providers can prevent unexpected disruptions. Ignoring evaluation notices or delaying appointments may lead to reinstatement fees and extended loss of driving privileges. These policies emphasize early risk identification while placing greater responsibility on drivers to prove continued medical readiness for safe driving. Number 6. Restricted licenses and driving limitations. Many states are expanding the use of restricted driver's licenses for motorists aged 70 and older as an alternative to full suspension. These licenses allow driving under specific conditions, such as daylight hours only, limited distance from home, or approved routes for medical and essential errands. Transportation safety studies indicate that restricting high-risk driving situations can significantly reduce collision rates while preserving limited mobility for older adults. Restrictions are typically imposed after medical reviews, road test results, or functional screenings show moderate risk rather than severe impairment. While this approach avoids total license loss, violations carry serious consequences. Driving outside permitted hours or locations may result in heavy fines, point accumulation, or immediate suspension. Many drivers underestimate how closely these conditions are monitored, especially with increased traffic enforcement and digital record tracking. Managing a restricted license requires strict awareness and planning. Drivers must clearly understand their permitted conditions and adjust routines accordingly. Simple mistakes, such as driving after sunset or exceeding distance limits, can trigger penalties exceeding thousands of dollars. For older adults, restricted licensing represents a narrow margin for error, where compliance protects independence, but missteps can rapidly escalate into full license loss and financial strain. Number 7. Higher fines for distracted driving violations. Distracted driving laws are becoming stricter nationwide, with higher fines and harsher penalties that increasingly affect drivers aged 70 and older. Many states now enforce zero-tolerance rules for handheld phone use, including texting, calling, or app interaction while driving. Traffic safety research links divided attention to delayed reaction time, lane drift, and missed signals, risks that are amplified when natural age-related slowing is present. Fines for first offenses often exceed several $100s, while repeat violations can push total costs beyond $2,000 when court fees, surcharges, and insurance penalties are included. In some jurisdictions, distracted driving now adds points to a driver's record, accelerating the path towards suspension. Cameras and automated enforcement systems have expanded, making violations easier to detect without direct police stops. For older drivers, adapting habits is essential. Using hands-free systems, setting navigation before starting the vehicle, and pulling over for calls can prevent costly mistakes. Even brief interactions with a device may trigger penalties under updated laws. Ignoring these changes risks financial loss and license suspension, turning a momentary distraction into long-term mobility challenges and higher insurance costs that extend well beyond the initial citation. Number 8. Point accumulation and automatic suspension systems. Many states are tightening point accumulation rules, making it easier for drivers aged 70 and older to reach automatic suspension thresholds. Traffic violations such as speeding, red light offenses, distracted driving, and failure to yield now carry higher point values than in previous years. Safety research shows that multiple minor violations often predict higher crash risk, prompting regulators to intervene earlier through administrative penalties. Once a driver exceeds the allowable point limit within a set time frame, licenses may be suspended without a court hearing. Reinstatement commonly requires payment of fines, completion of safety courses, and proof of insurance, with total costs often exceeding $2,000. Points also remain on driving records longer, affecting insurance premiums and eligibility for renewal in certain states. For older drivers, understanding point systems is critical. Even small infractions can accumulate quickly, especially with automated enforcement and stricter monitoring. Avoiding unnecessary risks, obeying posted speed limits, and responding promptly to citations can prevent escalation. Failing to track point totals may result in sudden loss of driving privileges, disrupting daily routines, medical care access, and independence. Number 9. Insurance-linked penalties and surcharge rules. Insurance regulations are increasingly tied to driving records for motorists aged 70 and older, creating financial consequences that extend beyond traffic fines. Many insurers now apply automatic surcharges after violations, failed road tests, or medical review flags reported to licensing agencies. Actuarial studies show that age combined with recent infractions significantly raises claim risk, prompting insurers to adjust premiums quickly and aggressively. Even a single citation can trigger premium increases lasting several years. Multiple violations, point accumulation, or conditional licensing may lead insurers to reclassify drivers as high risk, resulting in thousands of dollars in added costs annually. In some cases, coverage may be reduced or non-renewed, forcing drivers to seek specialty insurance at much higher rates. These changes often occur with little warning, catching drivers off guard during renewal periods. Managing insurance exposure requires awareness and prevention. Maintaining a clean driving record, completing approved safety courses, and addressing DMV requirements promptly can help limit premium spikes. Ignoring violations or delaying corrective actions may compound costs rapidly. For older drivers on fixed incomes, insurance-linked penalties can become as disruptive as license suspension, affecting mobility, budgeting, and long-term driving independence. Number 10. Mandatory refresher and safety course requirements. An increasing number of states are requiring drivers aged 70 and older to complete refresher or defensive driving courses as part of license renewal or violation resolution. These programs focus on updated traffic laws, hazard awareness, reaction strategies, and age-related driving adjustments. Transportation research shows that structured refresher training can reduce collision risk by reinforcing situational awareness and compensatory techniques. Failure to complete required courses within specified deadlines may lead to fines, delayed license renewal, or temporary suspension. Course fees, testing costs, and scheduling challenges can add up, especially when in-person attendance is required. Some states also link course completion to insurance eligibility, meaning non-compliance may trigger premium increases alongside licensing penalties. For older drivers, planning ahead is essential. Enrolling early, selecting state-approved programs, and retaining completion certificates can prevent administrative issues. Assuming courses are optional or delaying participation may result in reinstatement fees and loss of driving privileges. These requirements reflect a broader shift toward ongoing skill verification, placing responsibility on drivers to demonstrate continued readiness for today's complex traffic environments. Number 11. Cognitive and reaction time pilot testing programs. Several states are launching pilot programs that evaluate cognitive function and reaction time for drivers aged 70 and older during license renewal. These assessments measure attention, decision speed, and the ability to respond to sudden roadway changes. Traffic safety studies link slowed cognitive processing to increased crash risk, particularly at intersections, during left turns, and in heavy traffic conditions where rapid judgment is required. Unlike traditional written tests, these screenings often use digital tools or brief interactive exercises. Results may determine whether a driver receives full renewal, conditional licensing, or referral for further evaluation. Scores below established thresholds can trigger additional road testing or medical reviews, delaying renewal and increasing administrative costs. While these programs are still limited, early data suggests broader adoption may follow. For older drivers, familiarity with these evaluations can reduce stress and improve outcomes. Staying mentally active, managing sleep quality, and addressing health conditions that affect alertness may support better performance. Ignoring pilot requirements or missing assessment appointments may result in temporary suspension. These programs signal a shift toward measuring real-time driving readiness rather than relying solely on age or driving history. By 2026, driving after 70 will require more attention, preparation, and awareness than ever before. These laws are not about age alone, but about how closely safety, health, and driving records are now monitored. Staying informed, responding quickly to DMV notices, and adjusting habits early can make the difference between continued independence and sudden suspension. If this information helped you, like the video, subscribe for updates, and comment with your thoughts or experiences. Watch our next video to stay ahead of upcoming driving and safety changes.